Palantir. This is one of those companies that almost no one can price. And think that sounds crazy? Just look at the spread. Wall Street's got price targets ranging from about $90 to $255. Same company, same financials, same stock. That's no small disagreement. That is a valuation war. So the real question isn't whether it's a good company anymore. I know the business is impressive. The real question is whether the stock can still climb back towards $200 without asking investors to believe in perfection. Well, in this video, you'll learn what Wall Street can't agree on, why that disagreement matters so much, and how this huge valuation gap could affect Palantir stock from here. But before we begin, if you're new to the channel, hello, my name is Rick Orford. I'm a Wall Street Journal bestselling author, been trading since 1999, and no, I'm not a financial advisor. And that's a good thing, because I'm right here with you, breaking down the numbers so retail investors like us can make smarter, more confident decisions with our money. I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. And you all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with The Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beaten the market by almost 6 times. Go to fool.com/Ricko to get your 10 stock picks right now. Okay, so let's start with where Palantir is today, because this is what makes the debate worth having. The stock trades at around $130 a share right now, and that matters because when people ask whether Palantir can climb back to 200, they're really asking whether there's still more than 50% upside sitting inside one of the most controversial AI stocks we've ever seen. That is a big move, but it's not some random number. The reason $200 keeps coming up is because Wall Street itself is already pointing investors in that direction, even though analysts are nowhere even close to agreeing on what the company is worth. Right now, 29 analysts follow Palantir, and as a group, they rate it a moderate buy. The average price target is $194. But then have a look at the range. Bank of America is all the way at the top here at $255 as a target, while the more cautious ones are down near $90. That's a spread of almost 3x between the low target and the high target. You've got one side saying, hey, this stock is incredible, we love it, there's major upside. But then you've got the other side that's saying, it's going to fall, it's going to fall, it's going to fall, and both sides are looking at the same company. That is the trap here, right? The business can be excellent, but the long-term opportunity can be real. And the stock can still be hard to price because much of the valuation depends on what investors believe happens next at Palantir. And that's what makes this valuation so tricky. Palantir isn't being judged like an average software company because investors are already treating it like a future operating system for AI. Well, at least the optimistic ones are. And that difference matters because Palantir isn't trading like a slow software company or a slow growing one. It's trading like one of the most important AI platforms ever. So if the bulls are right, $200 plus may not be that far away. Now, before I go deeper into that bull and bear debate, if you like this kind of breakdown, I'd love for you to join my investing community. It's one of the fastest growing investing communities here on YouTube, and members like you talk about specific companies, stock ideas, and options trading every single day. Best part, completely free to join. Just scan the QR code on the screen or check for the link in the description and I'll see you inside. Now, the reason the stock creates such a wide split is because the company itself gives both sides plenty to work with. The bull case really comes down to one word: growth. But not just any growth. It's growth with real profit behind it. And that's what separates Palantir from a lot of the other AI names that still sound exciting, but still struggle to turn that excitement into earnings. For 2026, analysts expect Palantir's annual revenue to grow around 72%. To put that into context, a typical software company grows closer to 15%. So Palantir isn't just growing a little faster than the average, it's running several times faster than many of its peers. And when a company this big grows that much faster than the pack, well, the market usually pays a premium for it. But growth alone, not enough. Plenty of companies grow fast while still burning cash. Companies can tell a great story while shareholders wait years for any profit to show up. But Palantir is entirely different because the profit is already there. Net margins are above 35%. That means the company keeps more than a third of every dollar in revenue as profit. That's what makes the bull case so powerful. Palantir isn't selling a dream about future scale. It's already proving the model can produce serious earnings. And on top of that, its return on equity ranks among the best of the best in software. There's basically no debt weighing it down, and free cash flow just keeps rolling in. This is the actual cash a business can produce after it pays for costs that are needed to keep operating and growing. And that's why the debate around Palantir is so different from a lot of the other names in AI. The question is whether the stock price already reflects too much of that strength. And that's where investors kind of need to be careful because great companies can still become dangerous stocks when expectations get too high. Now, what's driving all that growth? Well, really, it comes down to government and commercial AI. Over time, Palantir's software has become the layer that defense agencies, intelligence operations, hospitals, and banks actually use to run important operations. And on the commercial side, its AI platform keeps turning trials into paying customers. That's exactly what the bulls want to see. They don't want a company simply yakking about AI on earnings call. They actually want to see AI turning into contracts, usage, revenue, and free cash flow. And that brings me to the recent NVIDIA deal, because that's actually worth slowing down here for a moment. Palantir and NVIDIA teamed up in late June of 2026, and the idea is that the government agencies can now run powerful AI inside their own secure environments. That is a huge deal because sensitive information never has to leave the building. And for Palantir, the deal works like a big fat stamp of approval. It tells investors that Palantir is sitting in the part of the AI market where the serious, high-value work actually happens. The kind that gets used in government, security, healthcare, and even financial systems. So if you're bullish on Palantir stock, this is the part of the story that you probably care about the most. Fast growth, fat margins, real AI demand. That's the version of Palantir where $200 a share starts to look possible. But the bearish argument is much simpler. It says the stock just too expensive. I mean, Palantir trades at about 142 times earnings. To put that into perspective, similar companies trade in the mid-30s. So investors are paying several times over what the average stock costs relative to its profits. This is the price to earnings ratio. It's what investors are paying for every dollar of the company's earnings. And at 142 times earnings, Palantir is priced like a company where almost everything has to go perfect. A valuation like that leaves very little room for disappointment. One soft quarter will hit the stock quickly. One guidance cut will completely change the tone. And one period where AI stocks in general cool off, well, it'll suddenly make investors question again how much they're willing to pay for Palantir. And that's why the low target sits near $90. It's not, I think, because the bears think that Palantir is broken. Because sometimes the risk isn't the business itself. Sometimes the risk is the price. Now, if you've been watching Palantir, but think it's just too expensive for you, but maybe you'd rather own the stock 15 or 20% below where it is today. Well, if that's the case, check this video up here, because I talk about how you can sell a put option on a stock you want to own and get paid to wait for it to potentially come down to your price. And guess what? If it does, you get to buy it, and you got paid to buy it as well. Now, the recent trading action shows exactly why price matters. Over the last year, Palantir has swung between roughly $106 and $207. So this stock has already shown investors both sides of the story. And right now, with the stock sitting well off that high, the momentum crowd has already seen a lot of pain, at least this year. And that's why I don't think this video should be simply framed as a simple buy or sell debate. The better question is whether Palantir can grow into the valuation fast enough before the market loses patience. Because if growth keeps coming in strong, the stock is, I think, going to keep working. But if growth slows before the valuation comes down, the stock can get punished even while the company keeps doing well. That's the part that investors miss. So what would it actually take to push Palantir back towards $200? Well, a move like this is going to need some real triggers. And the first trigger is going to be earnings. Every quarterly report is going to matter in the future for Palantir because the stock is already priced for excellence. Its average earnings move is about 7.4%, which tells you the market tends to react hard when new numbers come out. This is the earnings move. It's how much the stock typically moves around its earnings report. And at this valuation, simply beating expectations is probably not enough. The company likely needs to beat expectations and raise its outlook to keep investors interested and excited. And that's why the next report matters so much. The next earnings report is expected after the close on August 3rd, and that could set the near-term tone for the stock. So there's two things I'd be watching for most closely. These are revenue growth and new commercial customer additions. If growth stays above 40% and management lifts its guidance, well, that's going to give the bulls more fuel. But if growth starts to drift closer to 30%, the bears are going to have a much stronger argument. And remember, the whole $200 case here depends on investors believing the growth story is still intact. And that's because when a stock trades at 142 times earnings, the market isn't paying for average, it's paying for exceptional. Now, the second trigger here are new deals. Palantir stock has always been sensitive to announcements because deals help investors see the AI story turning into actual dollars. Government contracts, they matter. Commercial expansions matter. And partnerships like that with NVIDIA matters. So every single one can act like another step in the staircase because it shows that customers are building around Palantir's platform. If Palantir keeps landing high-value contracts, especially in areas where security, scale, and reliability matter, then the company can keep defending that premium valuation. But if the announcements slow down or if investors start questioning whether the AI platform keeps converting interest into revenue, then the stock gets harder to defend. The third trigger, of course, is analyst upgrades. Now, I don't think analyst targets alone should drive your own investment decision, at least not entirely, because they can be wrong, they can be late, and they as well can often move after the stock has already moved. But they still matter because price targets, they shape the sentiment, especially when in a stock like Palantir where the valuation range is already so high. So if several analysts start raising their own targets in a short stretch, well, the market usually notices. And lately, the most bullish targets have been clustering around $200 and above. But it does show you why that level matters psychologically. It's become the line where bulls want to prove that Palantir is more than just expensive. They want to prove it deserves to be expensive. And that brings me back to the original point. Palantir today could be the best company that no one can price. The bulls are not crazy. They can point to rapid growth, strong margins, and real AI demand. But the bears aren't crazy either. They're pointing to 142 times earnings multiple, a huge premium to the sector, and a stock that can drop fast if expectations cool down. So when I look at Palantir, I don't see a simple story. I see a great business trapped inside a very difficult valuation. And that's why $200 is possible, but not automatic. It sits just above the roughly $194 average target and well below the $255 high target. But the stock is not going to get there on hope. It needs earnings that deliver. It needs guidance that supports the story. And it needs the AI mood across the entire market to stay intact. If those things line up, over the next year, then yes, I think Palantir can absolutely make a run back towards $200 and perhaps even beyond. But if one of those pieces breaks, well, that $90 side of the debate starts to matter again very quickly. And that's why I'd watch the next few quarters more than the headlines themselves. I'd watch customer growth more than the mood or the social media hype. And I'd respect the valuation more than excitement alone. And honestly, that's what makes the stock so fascinating, doesn't it? The market isn't arguing about whether Palantir matters. It's arguing about what Palantir is worth. And until that answer gets any clearer, the stock will probably keep acting, well, like exactly what it is, a premium AI company that can reward believers, punish late buyers, and confuse almost everyone trying to put a clean price on it. But now, I want to turn it over to you. Do you think Palantir deserves a premium valuation because its AI platform is that strong? Or do you think the stock is just too high, priced too much for perfection? And before I go, did I get this right? Did I forget anything? Let me know all of that and more in the comments below. And while you're there, if you found the video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe because it really does help others find the video. It supports the channel and it makes sure that you don't miss out on my next deep dive. Well, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again here on YouTube or in my community. Bye for now.